Out of the 8 billion podcasts that claim to talk about sports, 99% of them talk football and basketball. And that's about it. That's because they don't know about anything else. And they bore you to tears. Welcome to the Sportsocracy, the Ocho, where sports meets comedy, sports analysis, laughs, and the occasional debate that'll likely blow the roof off. We're rowdy and loud and bringing the party straight to your ears.
The party has arrived.
And by the way, you don't have to be a sports fan to like this show, because we're pretty damned awesome, even when we're not talking sports. From baseball to hockey to wrestling to the UFC and beyond, we love it, and we're talking about it. And now your host, Armchair, hailing from Canada. He's a sports encyclopedia. And Dubs, the quintessential masshole who's always down for some lively banter and a little bit of the green stuff. And we're not talking about the outfield grass. Let's rock this. This is the Sportsocracy, the Ocho.
What's up? Here we go. If you're a Cowboys fan, I'm sorry for you. What's up?
Here we go.
It's Armchair and Dubs. And we're back once again. Another episode of the Ocho. Our amigos from the Sportsocracy are off for a little bit. Jeremy is getting some much-needed R&R time with HWA, and instead we get to do this. And that's fun.
It's Draftsman's vacation. We've already done all the draft stuff. He gets to go hibernate for a little bit.
Then he comes hibernate. Gotta love it. We have some fun stuff to talk about. Of course, we're going to do some NHL recap of the previous round. We are into officially round 3 tonight. We're into the conference finals tonight. Florida and New York starting right about now. Rangers are apparently the odds-on favorite to be the least likely to win the Stanley Cup. They have the longest odds on almost every book. I find that fascinating. Do not understand it whatsoever. Makes no sense at all. MVT saying first time Orioles get swept in 2 years, and it's the Cardinals of all teams. Help my fantasy baseball team. I'll tell you that much. Help my fantasy baseball team. And yes, they did shit can the Sox. It's baseball.
We beat them. We had a good series. Rafi, we'll get to Rafi at some point, but they got us real bad one game. We were watching one of the playoff games, and then my buddy was like, "Oh no!" And I looked at the score, and it was on a dime.
Yeah.
Look down, look up, and we were down like 10 runs. It was wild.
Jays are doing that right now. They just put 7. Yeah,
oh, yeah?
7 runs in the second. So about time to see some hitting. Happy to see it. Rangers haven't played anyone. No, they haven't. But unfortunately, the schedule doesn't care who your opponents are. And the benefit of playing in a shitty division is you get to play in the shitty division and win all those games. I want to get to this because it's the greatest thing ever. We're not going to start with the lead tonight. It's the lead is the lead. Tonight we're starting with something that may be a new segment. I don't know. We'll find out. But it is the most Ocho story I've ever seen in my entire life. And God love you, Dubs, for bringing this to us, because it is, and I mean this wholeheartedly, the greatest piece of cinema I've ever witnessed.
I don't
Please
know if I can get the
enlighten
link.
No,
in the chat,
it won't drop in the chat, but we'll put it on Twitter.
Yeah, I'll throw it up on my Twitter. I'm scrolling through looking for, checking up on my odd news pages, looking to see if I can find anything to bring to the table. And this caught my attention instantly. I saw a headline that said, fiery dispute between flamethrower and mariachis. And I was like, oh boy, what happened here? I inquire further, and video starts. It's like surveillance footage of some street corner, and the mariachi band. There's 2 of them. wearing the full gig. They fucking run up on this dude. They start beating the shit out of him. Apparently it was over tips. It was like they're beefing. There was two street performers and they were too close to each other. They've clearly had disputes in the past. I doubt it leveled up like that over this, but
who knows though.
Fire breather, camera feed cuts, he's down. They fucking beat the shit out of him. He comes back a few minutes later, douses them all with gasoline and starts spitting fireballs at them.
He's just chucking it. He's like, if you're watching, he's just
fireball.
Like, can you imagine?
Full
like
fucking Tekken.
Listen,
Liu Kang fireballs.
if you're, yeah.
He came straight. They got him, little guerrilla warfare. He wasn't ready for it. They jumped him. It's 2-on-1. He said, "Fuck, I know how to even the odds."
Yeah, it was a
fat. Coming back with a homemade. Yeah, it was a complete fuck around and find out. The
There's no worse. So
10 toes down on those Air Maxes.
We were talking a little bit
Air Force
pre-show
Air Max
about the worst. Like you would not live down getting your ass beat by a mariachi band.
No, it's a tough way. It's a tough guy to get beat up by.
No way. Is that Conquistador? Sure. Luchador.
Do they take off the hats before, or they like? It would be way more demoralizing if they beat you up with the whole get-up hat.
What fight song would the mariachis play to support their mariachi brothers in a
They
battle?
do like a mariachi rendition of Seven Nation Army.
Yes. Yeah. I think that'd be good. I think it'd be a good time. The most Ocho thing that we've ever seen, and the link will be in tequila.
I'm putting it on. That's a good one too.
Yes,
they're like putting war paint on. It's they're just playing tequila.
Yeah, it's such a happy song,
and they're getting so angry. They're getting so hyped up about it.
Hyped up. They're ready to roll. That is the most Ocho thing I've ever seen. And next week, I encourage anyone that watches or listens to this show, please let me know what the most Ocho thing you've ever seen is, because I would love to make this a regular segment. I would love to know specifically what the most Ocho thing you've seen is. So let us know on socials. We'll be checking it out, and we'll absolutely post it there. All right, let's get into the lead. I want to talk a little bit of F1 because there's a lot of stuff that we want to get to on the ice. Max Verstappen wins again in the MSC Cruises Imola Grand Primero de Parmigiano Reggiano GP F1. I don't know what the name has, like 72 different things you got to put in there.
The Oreos Holiday Fiesta Bowl.
Yes. But he almost didn't win. If it were a 67 lap race instead of 63 or whatever it is, I think Lando takes him. He was right on his ass the entire time. It was impressive. And we're finally seeing this come to fruition. We're finally seeing, like, legitimately, we're seeing Lando competing on a real level.
I mean, I am a Verstappen fan, but it's nice to just see some fucking competition for like.
It's just racing. Like, give me some racing.
There's been no reason to watch outside of the drama. There's been no reason to watch.
You hope for a crash.
You know it's going to happen every single race.
You hope for a crash and like someone different. I'm still holding out hope for a Yuki Tsunoda victory because I think it'd be amazing.
Max is doing some like endurance iRacing competition this weekend too.
Amazing.
Like on top of doing the Grand Prix, which is ridiculous.
Yes. Well, you know, he's
guy's a machine.
Guy's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm happy for Lando.
I'm pumped to see people that are actually starting to compete. I want to see more.
Ferrari's closing the gap too.
Ferrari's closing. We're going to get some upgrades coming here.
Yep.
Shortly. Apparently, Aston Martin brought like all their upgrades and like none of it worked. None of it worked.
I would love to be a fly on the wall in that conversation. Like, who goes up and tells Stroll that nothing, like sorry, we fucked it up.
Yeah, that's our bad. That's our bad. Oh man. All right.
You're fired. You're fired. Just fucking full on Donald Trump.
Yeah,
Vince
just
McMahon.
firing everybody.
Yeah. The Apprentice. That's what it was.
Yeah. Classic D Trump. Before he lost all his marbles. He was Omarosa, man. He got you're fired. You're fired. It was funny shit. I'm just saying. We all watched. Let's not pretend we didn't watch. Everybody watched. All right. You want to talk a little bit of baseball? Let's talk a little bit of the newsletter. You had a great piece today.
Thank you.
About Jeremy Swayman carrying the Bees. We'll get into that series.
Full on backpack.
The other side of it, of the newsletter, is you had a great piece on the historic Rafael Devers.
Rafi's an animal.
6 consecutive?
He had 6 straight games with a home run. It came to a close on Monday, but absolute tear. He was the first major leaguer to homer in as many as 6 straight games since Mike Trout. He had 7 back in 2022. Votto had a 7-game streak in 2021, which it seems late for Joey Votto.
Just late.
So much of a fucking animal that guy is. Paul Goldschmidt had 6 straight in 2019. He set the franchise record for the Red Sox. He was tied at 5 with Jimmy Fox, Ted Williams, Dick Stewart, George Scott. I have no idea who those 2 fucking guys are. Jose Canseco, which is yeah. And Bobby fucking Dahlbeck. Which I'm so glad he's on that list.
This is why baseball's great.
It's the best.
This is like just a random, like, I'm a guy. And I made it on the list.
6 straight for Rafi Devers. Fucking, and Cora and Devers said he's like not even. They're like he's not even locked in yet. So we'll see if that actually holds true. That's probably just blowing smoke up his ass. But
Chris Davis is my least favorite Oriole ever.
Me too.
Fucking no offense.
I'll pass on Chris Davis. Oh, look at that, back in focus.
Chris Davis either struck out or went yard. There were only 2 outcomes in that. He came up in a clutch spot, and it was going to be either your heart was broken or he was chasing something in the dirt. And unfortunately for Toronto, he did that a bunch to us, where he ruined our lives. But there were plenty of times where there was just nothing left in the tank.
Really liked Adam Jones. Really liked Brian Roberts. Really liked when Daniel Cabrera pitched against us because he was really bad.
Oh, the Orioles. Not the same O's as they once were. Now they're powerhouse and real good.
And gonna be for a while.
Yeah, they're young and good and all signed. So as long as ownership doesn't screw the pooch, you're fine. Do you want to jump into any more baseball stuff?
Yeah, I got a couple other historic performances throughout the league this week. Mason Miller, 5-4 win over the Rockies on Tuesday night. He survived through a trio of Jordan Beck, Charlie Blackmon, and Ezekiel Tovar on 16 pitches, retiring each on swinging strikes. He became the first reliever since 1901 to go 15 games with no runs allowed, 40-plus strikeouts, and less than 5 walks. When you're breaking records that are 120-plus years old, so
that's one of 2 things, though. That is either the record is so obscure, or
correct. Baseball has super obscure records. The one even the Rafi one is like,
or it's like it was a really hard record to beat. Like, I always laugh when they're like,
the stats are fucking ridiculous.
So and so's the first player to step on first base with his left foot like 11 times in a row, and it's like, are we tracking that? This is what we're tracking?
It does blow my mind.
It is.
And Suarez for the Phillies, 9-0 with a 1.36 ERA through 10 starts. Absolutely ridiculous. His 1.36 ERA is the 3rd lowest in franchise history through 10 starts. And he's the first pitcher to start 9-0 with a sub 150 ERA since 1966.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty.
Those are less obscure. ERA
Cruz.
wins mean nothing, but the
Wins
ERA is absolutely absurd. And he just did 7 innings against the Rangers the other night.
I just want to point out that as MVT is mentioning, Ellie De La Cruz, he is that guy.
He is that guy. He is him.
65 stolen bases so far in his career. He's got 30. 30 in 2024. He's got that's a stupid number.
It's a lot.
That's automatic, man.
He's fast and he's real big.
He is. He's got a little bit of everything going on. I'm real curious to know what his splits are. Like
also, O'Neal Cruz, another freak. That guy throws the ball hard. Holy fucking shit.
Yes, he does. Still ain't catching Ricky. Probably not.
No chance.
No. That's one of those not obscure records.
Yeah, he's that one's not much you can do to catch Ricky.
Yeah. And you've got Gunnar up there. Gunnar is a dude. I don't know if he's going to be, one of the greatest of all time, but he is a superstar in the making. Super excited to see what happens. And then we still forgot that we have like Tatis and Acuna. Like baseball's in a good spot. Vladdy's hustling around bases. He's coming on a little bit.
Wagon's got wheels.
Listen, everybody was like, they're joking about, Vladdy's not hitting anymore. I got bad.
He's been doing wind sprints.
His splits over the last couple of weeks have been obnoxiously good. I mean, he's got a 282 on the season. His home run numbers aren't there, but 282 is above his career average. He's got 134 career home runs.
Stud.
Yeah, he's closing in on 500 ribbies. Conversely, only 19 career stolen bases for Vladdy.
Ellie De La Cruz has 30 in a month and a half.
Yeah, Ellie De La Cruz has played for 27 minutes, and he has more stolen bases than Vladdy does career, but that's okay.
The ass slows him down. It's a lot to carry around.
He's got the cake. He can't help it. It's a burden that he is willing to wear.
Kyle Lowry and him are just doing the Spider-Man meme.
Oh, Kyle Lowry. Speaking of former Toronto folks, Sheldon Keefe signed,
sure did,
announced as the coach of the New Jersey Devils, which only means New Jersey Devils are likely going to the playoffs to win a cup. They're going to win a round.
It'd be great if they ended up playing the Leafs.
Kerry Carpenter, first Tigers pitcher, pinch hitter thrown out at home while stretching a triple into an inside the park home run since Ira Flagstad, 1922. Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about.
Kerry Carpenter sounds like a insurance broker, and Ira Flagstad sounds like a vampire.
Who's been watching Tigers pinch hitters since 1922? Baseball.
Generations.
Watching.
Generations.
Everyone. It's just eyes. It's that creepy Met. Mr. Met has been watching.
Mr. Met sees everything.
Mr. Met is actually the Eye of Sauron from Lord of the Rings.
He's
the all-seeing eye.
Wizard of Oz crystal ball.
Yeah.
Show me Tigers pinch hitters in 1943.
Yeah, he just sees everything. I don't know. What else you got?
We used to do obscure stats on Stone Sports. I called it the ESPN 50% shooting on a full moon when the gym is below 70 degrees stat of the week, and I had it all done out in like an acronym. That's the shit they would throw out for LeBron all the time. They'd just be like, here's the first player in history to do this, and there's just like 75,000 different stipulations.
Yeah, always.
CVS receipt of asterisks.
Yeah, but he didn't do the gym wasn't like 62.
Yeah, if it's 63 and above, he's actually way better. That's when he's elite. That's when he's at his best. 64 and 65 degrees.
Is it hot as hell where you are now?
It was hot as fuck today. It was like 86, no clouds. Just
We were also like almost touching 80.
yeah,
today.
it was
And that-
86, and it was like I want to say it was 52 on Monday or Sunday. On Sunday, it was like 52.
we don't touch the 80s until like late August.
Yeah,
like, that's
it's
weird for us. It's hot as fuck.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. It was a gorgeous fucking day, but it was definitely hot.
LeBron's not getting any triple doubles in this, that's for sure.
I just had to put a shirt on to look presentable for the show.
I appreciate it.
I didn't want to slip a nip.
Viewers. Get us canceled. This kind of shit we got to avoid. Mariachi bands will keep us in business at this rate. All good. All right, you want to get into playoff recap, or you got anything else?
Speaking of Leafs, Craig Berube signed with
we forgot. We haven't talked about Berube.
No.
How do you feel about that signing?
I don't know. It's just the same shit. They just recycle coaches in the NHL.
Do you know that the average lifespan, quote unquote, of an NHL coach is like
Probably-
1.9 years?
Yeah, I was gonna guess 1.5 to 2 years.
It's 1.9 years. Want to guess what it is for the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball? So they're all around the same.
4-ish.
It's 3.8.
Yeah.
Take notes, Tank. See, this is how you guess things. It's right on. bang on instead of like way out. Yeah, it's 3.8 years is the average rate that coaches get fired. That's the turnover rate. Every 3.8 years. There's a whole bunch that are more tenured in the NFL, of course. For a long time, there were. I mean, God, we have Bill Cowher and.
Is baseball the longest?
No.
I know they're all right there. But.
Yeah, I think it's pretty close. It's pretty close to. But it was really interesting to see because Dallas Aikens said, "How am I supposed to like create a relationship with these players, get them to buy into the program, and then I'm shit canned in like 3 months, and then they have to start over? Of course, they're not winning." I think that the Leafs hiring a Berube does nothing. It doesn't move the needle at all for me until you change that roster, which has been perennially shit in the playoffs. You're not going to get anywhere. I just don't see it. It's not a good thing.
I just saw an interview with Chandler Parsons today, and he was saying, he was like, "Hey, like you can only hear the same coaching so many times." He's like, "We all know what we have to do. If it's us not executing it, it's not the coach's fault." He's like just talking about the same thing, just coaches being fired and recycled. And
I mean, Dallas Aikens went to the Cup with Vegas,
right?
And then he's going with Dallas. He's Western Conference Final. Like, he's not a bad coach. His coaching isn't the problem. How many teams the Torque's been on?
I bet that win was so sweet over them.
It was probably real satisfying. Super satisfying. Speaking of the Dallas Stars, financially invested. How's that cash out button looking?
Looking pretty good, to be honest.
Dallas advances, and that series felt like it could have been close, but Colorado felt tired. They felt tired. Stanley Cup is really hard to win. I think people think that it's like, I saw a post from DraftKings asking what's the hardest trophy in sports, and they had like the NBA championship or the Lombardi, the World Series, or the Stanley Cup. And there were a bunch of mouth breathers in there saying the NFL because it's one and done. And
that makes it easier.
Well, I understand that you think that makes it harder to win. That makes it easier.
Incredibly.
You get a bye from the wild card round, and then you're playing 3 games to win the Super Bowl. 3 games. It's 4 weeks. We've been playing hockey since the end of April, every other day with an occasional travel day. And football will
Taking
have
nothing but fucking abuse.
Yeah, teams win 3 in a row all the time. They really do. The NHL is just a little more brutal. The NBA championship, I will not shit on NBA players on the show right now today, but in
Another
general, are soft. This generation
Oh,
of
not
NBA
shit on
players,
Jaylen Brown.
this generation of NBA players are soft compared to like the pre-Jordan era and Jordan era. Yes, you do. Exactly. You get an extra week off before the Super Bowl where everybody pampers you and you can get whatever you want. I don't know. You play 3 games in a week in the NHL.
For 2 months.
3 games in a week. Yeah.
You try playing 3 hockey games in a week once, let alone for 2 months.
Yeah, you're gassed. NBA is, at least you're playing every other day. But I still don't think it's as complicated or as difficult because the physicality just isn't there.
You're
gotta
not
have good
getting hit
cardio.
into the boards and all that shit.
You gotta have good cardio, but like
You gotta
the
have good
physical
cardio
toll-
in hockey as well.
physical toll is not even close. You got better cardio in hockey, I would argue. I would argue that hockey players. I saw a clip of Ovi playing soccer.
I don't skate, so I can't tell you.
I do skate, and I can tell you, you'll get gassed. I saw a clip of Ovi playing soccer, and he was like running people over. It was fucking amazing. First off, the soccer players were like up to his shoulder,
The
and he was
Kremlin
just
League.
and he was just like running them over, like just like leaned into them, and they fell over because his size is just huge. But he's running faster than them. I don't know. It's got to be tough. Dallas looked like the better team. Colorado looked tired.
Colorado was defeated, and that their power play just disappeared after the Nichushkin stuff and Dallas adjustments. And
that's a tough locker room thing to overcome. Like, it's not like you had like something that was like unifying.
They didn't look the same after that.
No, they didn't. Do you think they're back next year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're back next year.
I know they don't. We say this for a bunch of teams: Devils, Canes. Like they need a fucking better goalie.
Yeah, Gorgiev's not it.
No, he's fine, but he's not. He's not Ottinger. He's not Swayman. He's not Shesterkin.
He's not stealing you a game.
No,
when you need him to steal you a game. They need someone bad.
Shilovs is a rookie. He was leagues better than him.
Let's get into that series because that one got spicy at the end. Yep. Edmonton played 45 of the 60 minutes and almost lost that game.
Yep. Shilovs was incredible for one.
Yes.
Some of those saves he made were absolutely ridiculous. He was facing an onslaught from the start. Edmonton was watching Edmonton play compared to the Bruins is crazy. They're so much faster than us. Their
Connor
pace
McDavid
is ridiculous.
Is scary fast. And anytime there's like this
and
much
the rest of them match him. Like obviously he's the fastest guy on the ice, but like the team plays at that pace. And they're just constantly getting shots off there. It just looked like the Canucks were under duress for the majority of the game.
I would totally agree. I think that the question I have now is, what do you do with Artur Shilovs? Because you have a Vezina goalie. You have Thatcher Demko, who I think if Demko played, you win. I think you win that series. Just being honest. Shilovs he's a rookie.
He was great in game 7, but there were other times where he
gave it up. He gave it up a little bit. Yeah. Montreal had the same thing happen with Jaro Halak. Carey Price got hurt. Jaro Halak came in, won a bunch of games for them, and the talk in Montreal was, well, do we get rid of this young Carey Price guy and keep Yaroslav Halak, which is like hilarious to look back at, or do we keep Price and run the risk? Today, I look at it and I go, if I'm Vancouver, I'm taking calls on Shilovs, and I'm willing to make that gamble. At the very worst, you look like the Toronto Maple Leafs trading goalies.
Do you take calls on both or just Shelovs?
Just Shelovs. I don't think you can take calls on Demko. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think you can.
I don't think you can either.
He's a Vezina candidate every
Finalist,
year.
Yeah.
He's a Vezina finalist every year. I think that he makes your team infinitely better. I think if he's in there, you have an easier time with that series. I think Edmonton looked fast, but some of those shots were
he's a top 5 goalie in the league without a question to me.
Yeah, so you can't. I don't think you can move that guy. I don't think that's a movable asset.
Sell high on Shelovs.
You sell high. You take,
especially since you gave up some picks and shit to go get Zadorov and Lindholm, and
they've got a lot of questions right now to answer. They've got some UFAs. They've got some RFAs.
Pedersen was MIA for the entirety of the playoffs.
Yes, he was.
And you just signed him to a massive contract.
Did he give you Austin Matthews indifferent vibes? He was just kind of
Sam Darnold vision. He was just not there.
Just seeing ghosts.
Yeah. Casper.
I don't get it. I think that they need more. JT Miller was a stud.
Oh, he's a dog.
He's an absolute stud for that team. I liked what Zadorov brought. I hope they can re-sign him. I think that they're a good team. I think they're built well. They need to keep everyone, though. They need to keep a lot of those pieces. And if I were them, the first thing I'd do is I'd move Shelovs immediately to a goalie desperate team. And there are a dozen of them. You can move them to Toronto for Mitch Marner.
Ooh.
And some picks.
I want the Bruins scared all, Mark.
Well, let's talk about your Bruins. Go down to Florida on what is possibly
Plug the newsletter again. Wrote a piece on
Jeremy
Swayman and the wrap up of the series, but Game 6 was tough. It was a heartbreaker. I had that fuck. They're gonna make me believe halfway through the first period.
They were, but that's not a bad loss. That's a tough luck. That's a tough beat. That's
Swayman was perfect the whole series, and he got beat on a little bullshit turnaround flip shot. Yeah. He got beat on a 17-foot Rudy Gobert turnaround jumper. That's what he got beat on.
It was
tough. It was a tough way to go out.
It's not indicative of what he was like in the series.
No, not at all. He was electric. And if we win that game, we would have won 7.
I think so. I felt bad for him because it's that's not even it's not even on the goalie. It's just a fluky the way the puck dipped.
Yeah,
it was a knuckler. It was a knuckler.
He thought with the defense had it.
Yeah,
he thought we were getting the puck cleared out, and then all of a sudden a weird bounce, and then a weird bounce off of Swayman.
It was a total knuckleball. It just it went weird, dippy, and found the weird, the smallest crease. It was the one puck-sized hole it could fit in, and that's where it hit.
My only solace in it is that the whole stadium was chanting his name, and he got his flowers, and he gave a nice little heartfelt press conference addressing the crowd and everything.
So what are you doing? I didn't even flip our things. What are you doing with Allmark now? What's your?
He's out. I'm trading him. I know he declined to trade midway through the year.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to him and going, we have to move you. I'm sorry. Yeah. Where do you want to go? And start calling around to teams, but he's got to go. It's not any fault on him, but we need the whole series. We couldn't score. We couldn't shoot. We couldn't do offensively. We were inept.
You and Vancouver both.
We have Brad Marchand. We have Pasternak. You gave him this long-term extension. Outside of those guys, Coyle, Zaka, a couple, Lorai, I like. You're pretty inept, talent-wise. We're barren. We're barren.
You're a year away from being less talented than Montreal is right now.
Yeah, and
Montreal's young talent, and they're coming up real fast.
I would think they would want to retool and try to get we're close. We have Swayman. Give him a blank check, anything he wants.
Yep.
Get him back there. Move Allmark out for some sort of talent.
Yeah.
and then start packaging some of these guys together. And we have a bunch of cap room. The market's probably not going to be great.
No.
We're not going to change it overnight with a couple of signings, but I would like to think that they want to get more runs in before Brad retires.
They're going to have to.
We're set up to. We have paying all this money to Lindholm and McAvoy and
I like
Pastrnak.
Lindholm.
I like the core, but we need more.
Well, you weren't shooting the
We
puck.
need more fire. Yes, and part of it was because we weren't getting looks. Nobody was moving around. We weren't.
I'll say this:
the power play was abysmal. Everyone was just standing around going point bumper, point bumper, point bumper the whole fucking time.
Jim Montgomery's got some work to do because I would imagine his seat gets pretty hot pretty quick next season if it doesn't start well.
If we lost to Toronto, he was going to get canned.
100%. And Florida's different. I get it. They're a juggernaut. They're definitely a powerhouse. When I look at it, though, there were times where I would see your best player in the middle of the ice with the puck in space, and Pasta's trying to pass it off. Why isn't he shooting the puck? Like that's a coaching thing to me. Like that's you have to drill it in your head. You could tell when Boston was desperate, and the message was pucks on net. That's what happened, and you saw the same thing with Edmonton against Vancouver. Edmonton had a bad period in one of the games against Vancouver, and they were like, no, shots on net. And Vancouver wasn't shooting a ton either. They had a couple of games, so they won with sub 20 shots. That's crazy.
Yeah, they won with I think 19.
Yeah, that's not good. Like that's not. People are like, oh, that's so good. It's like, yeah, efficiency isn't what you're looking for here. It is the playoffs. You got to make your goalie work for it. And I would just watch Pasta in the middle of the ice.
18
and think,
shots in game 3.
You're the guy. You're him. You're the 100-point guy.
You're the guy that's going to be here for a decade.
You got to shoot. If anybody's going to shoot, it's got to be you.
It's you.
And he wasn't. He was passing it off. And I get that you want to get the other guys involved, and you're like, oh, I can score later. No, you can't. You're not shooting. There were 2 games where Boston had 2 and 3 shots in the first period, and it's like, well, you're out.
And we had 2 shots in one of the third periods.
Yeah, you're out.
5.
No desperation there. You need 10 plus a period.
Meanwhile, your goalie's standing on his fucking head, giving one of the best all-time playoff performances, tied for the highest save percentage in playoff history.
Yeah,
and we couldn't even get a shot on net, let alone one in.
Yeah, it was pretty. I felt pretty bad for Swayman.
I like Beecher. I like Lohrei.
Love Lohrei. I think that guy's.
I like Lauko.
Yeah.
Everyone else, all those other bottom line guys can go. And we need a top line center. I like Coyle and I like Zaka, but they're not 1Cs. They're both 2s. No.
You need well, they're 2s or 3s. You need someone else.
Zaka, in my opinion, is a 3. He gets a lot of he disappeared in the playoffs. Jake DeBrusk's a free agent. He can go. Danton Heinen, I like him. I like the story, but he's probably gone. I would like to bring back Pat Maroon just because we don't have
Big rig?
Yeah, I'd like if we can get a somewhat friendly deal done. I'd like for him to stick around for another season.
I don't know if he's going to play. I don't know if he's done or not.
He said he wants to stay.
Well, hopefully he gets another chance.
Yeah,
he's a guy that needs to go to a contender. So if you're going to pay him, you better hope you're winning.
Right.
The other series almost choked away. Almost choked away. Carolina was this close. They were one Christopher J. Kreider and Associates away from making it.
The offices of Christopher J. were working overtime.
Kreider with the clutch, natty hattie.
In the third.
Yeah. And he showed up and he said, all right, let's fucking go.
His backpack was a little bit deeper than Jeremy Swayman's, just a touch.
Well, he got it over. That's the only reason why.
Yeah.
3 goals in sequence for the Natty Hattie. And on top of that,
while he was down.
They were down. They were way down. It looked bad. It looked like Carolina was coming in and they were going to shut the door.
That second period from the Hurricanes was nasty. Yeah. They were all over the Rangers. They were putting goals in. They were just in the offensive zone the entire time. New York looked puzzled.
Overmatched.
Yeah.
I saw some articles originally saying that Brindamore's job was in jeopardy, and then they immediately signed him to
Immediately
a
extended him.
which I think was the smartest decision they could have made. That guy is a great coach, and he fits that market, and he fits that team. And now we have our Eastern Conference final. Rangers and Panthers and
Yuck.
Stars and Oilers.
Fucking yuck.
Yeah, it's not great.
The only way the Eastern Conference final could be worse if Toronto was in it.
That would be awful.
We all know that will never happen, but
No.
that's the only way that could get worse for me.
Panthers are the favorite. I don't think so. I think New York wins the series. I think New York is way faster. Aren't the Rangers the Rangers are way more skilled? Florida is a grind you down kind of team. That's just how they play. And I like watching it happen. It's kind of impressive from afar. I don't like watching it happen to my team, but like everybody else's team, it's fine.
I'm sick of watching it.
I bet you are.
I'm fucking over those motherfuckers, dude.
Let's see what happens with the bread man. I have not yet.
The bread man giveth.
Yeah, I mean Edmonton also almost did that.
Their goalies usually play 1.5.
Edmonton Dallas is a throwback to a classic playoff matchup. Oilers and Stars met many times in the early 2000s, the end of the Modano era, and early on. There are some fun storylines for whoever gets to the finals and wins, though. Like, does Pavelski get a cup?
Yep.
Jamie Benn? Like, 4 of those guys that have like more than 1,000 games played are on the Stars.
Tyler Seguin.
Get the man his ring. It'll be interesting. Any predictions? Who you got going to the final?
Financially invested. So I'm gonna have to say the Stars because I'm not gonna put any sort of jinx or voodoo magic on me. Dallas has been great. Ottinger's been incredible, and I think that's the edge. Ottinger over Skinner. I'm taking
Rupe
Ottinger every single time.
Hintz.
Rupe Hintz is a fantastic name. That's a top-tier hockey name.
It is a top-tier hockey name.
And
Heiskanen's been unbelievable.
the Stars have also gone through juggernauts in every round. They played Vegas round 1. They played Colorado round 2.
They have had the hardest road to the Cup final.
I think they have.
Because the Oilers are not going to be easy.
No, but
goaltending is easy, but
they played the Kings in the first round.
No, the Oilers had an easy trip. What I'm saying is Dallas playing Edmonton isn't going to be easy.
No, I know what you're saying.
But yeah, the Oilers had a cakewalk comparatively.
Obviously, Vancouver's a wagon, but
yeah, is what it is. I think that so Dallas on that side.
I like Dallas on that side.
You got the Rangers on the other side.
I do.
I think
that's not even a bias thing. So I hate both of them.
I don't remember who I have in the West. I think I had Vancouver in the West, so I'm out. I have New York in the East and winning the Cup. So I'm going to go New York, and I will be contrarian. I'll say Edmonton gets to the final but loses to the Rangers in poetic anti-Canadian fashion. Just can't get it done. But McDavid will be happy that he got at least to the show.
I also
How do you feel about that?
I want McDavid to leave Edmonton, so the more they lose, the better.
I hate when superstars pick up and go. It's like I'm old school.
They consistently leave the same flaws on the roster. How many times are we going to do this where him and Draisaitl on the offense are absolutely electric? Evan Bouchard's been fucking incredible the whole playoffs. This last series against Vancouver, he had 5 goals. Should have been 6, I think, because one was an assist, but it was his fucking great. Zach Hyman's been fantastic. But that's what I mean. This offense is electric every year. They're putting up almost 4 goals a game in the playoffs right now. And we've been bounced every single year. We haven't even made it there yet. This is their, if they make it, they'll be. I know they did, but they didn't make it to the Cup. Big Mike Trout guy.
You know what? I would prefer like superstars try and win where they belong when they're nice. Like when they're
I agree,
I
but
don't know.
how many times
Like,
is he
where's
going to just
McDavid
get
gonna go?
boned by
Toronto?
roster building? Like
Where do you want McDavid to go?
anywhere else?
No, don't say that.
I know, not Toronto. I don't want him to go to Toronto.
say
I don't want him to
that.
go to
That's
Toronto.
what
I don't want him to go to Florida, and I don't want him to go to New York. Anywhere else.
Right. So, but here's the thing: he's only going to go to one of those places. He's like McDavid's not leaving Edmonton, who is like a perennial playoff favorite, a perennial Stanley Cup contender, only to go to Toronto, where he's absolutely not winning a cup, and he knows better. He's not going like, is he going to New York, where he's gonna like, where they'll just dominate forever? Is that what we're gonna say? You go like, he's not going to the Hurricanes; they don't have the money for him.
No.
He would go to Florida. I bet he would go play with Stammer. You want him in Tampa, so we have another 3 years of Tampa winning cups? Like, we just went through this. This is what I'm saying.
I
like,
just feel bad for the dude up there. Like, how many times do we have to fucking do the same song and dance?
well, it could be forever.
Tao, he's not
which
going
is-
to you.
Yeah, he's not coming.
Not
No
a
way.
million years.
No.
If Alex Ovechkin was 25, maybe.
Yeah, it's not happening. Can you imagine what kind of package you would have to put together for McDavid?
It'd be a.
It starts with
Metric.
like 10 ones.
I was going to say it's at least 5 ones.
Starts with double-digit ones.
Yep.
And then on top of that, it's probably your like 3 best players, like NHL ready guys, plus prospects.
Yeah, your top 3 prospects and your top 3 players.
Like for
10
Montreal,
ones.
it would be like 6 ones. Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, Caden Primo, and then like Slavkovsky. We're gonna throw in Caden Gooley. We'll just throw them all, like just everybody. It's the entire farm system. And now you've got like Jeff Petrie and Connor McDavid on the same team. That's it. This is Joel Edmondson. It's the entire team. You would have to give up everybody. I've seen people float.
Then you're worse than the fucking Oilers.
I think people float. Like I saw Toronto saying, "Oh, well, let's just do Marner for McDavid."
Excuse me.
It's like, don't do crimes.
Yeah, that guy has brain. That guy's got a rotten brain.
We got something
ground
fun.
level CTE.
I know. We have unforgettables. Speaking of Stanley Cup related moments, which ties into our Mount Rushmore, our top of the tops. You got a little unforgettables. You want to go first, or you want me to?
Yeah, I can go first. This goes back to my 2011 Bruins championship team, the only one in my lifetime, unfortunately. Alexander Burrows, Vancouver Canucks, former forward, the 3 or 4 straight years of 25 goal seasons. Pretty decent player back in his prime. Was a real thorn in my side. He really didn't have that productive of a series. His only points came in game 2, but he had 2 goals and an assist, including the OT game winner. And he was just a real fucking prick the whole series. Yeah,
he was an absolute pest.
It was just he annoyed the piss out of me, and that on top of him getting the game winner, I was like, really? It was fucking that guy. Him, Rafi Torres. Those 2 fuckers.
Yeah.
He had also had a game 7 winner in the conference finals against the Chicago Blackhawks in OT, same playoff run.
Speaking of Chicago Blackhawks, that's where my unforgettable comes from.
Look at that.
Unforgettable moment. 2013 Stanley Cup playoffs. Blackhawks are trying to close out your Boston Bruins for the Stanley Cup. And they're down 2, or they're down 1. Sorry, they're down 1. And they score a pair of goals in like 16 seconds to take the lead and ultimately hold off the Bruins. And who did that scoring? It must have been Jonathan Taves or Patrick Kane.
Probably
or like
Johnny Oduya.
Duncan Keith, Johnny Oduya, one of those
Johnny
units.
Oduya.
No, it
Sharp
wasn't.
was on that team.
Patrick Sharp was on that team. Those guys were stacked.
They were nasty.
No, it's Dave Boland and Brian fucking Bickle.
Brian Bickle.
You got Brian Bickled. You got Bickled, bitch.
Brian Bickle did not fit. Like, his name did not fit his appearance.
No, it did not.
Brian Bickle sounds like a Pee Wee Herman character. And he did not look like that. He's like 6'4" and fucking yoked.
Yeah, he was.
He was a bastard that series. Johnny Oduya was too. He wasn't very good of a player, but he annoyed the fuck out of me in that series. Marcus Kruger.
They were a tough team. That was
Freddie's cousin.
And having unforgettables like Dubs made us think about a top of the tops, which is always fun because we haven't had top of the tops in a while.
It's because the Sedin sisters were on that team.
Yeah.
2 girls, no cup.
Oh boy. Top 4 guys, your Mount Rushmore of players who never won a Stanley Cup.
I'll give you one right off the rip. Former Bruin for just a second. Jerome McGinley.
Oh, Icky.
34th all-time in points. He came really close once, too, in 2004.
Yes, he
Played
did.
the Lightning.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. Came real close.
It sucked.
So Jerome McGinley's up there for me. He was just like an icon, too. When
he was so
first getting into hockey, he was just a powerhouse. His shot was incredible.
He
just winning awards. He led the league in goals a bunch of times.
He was involved in the golden goal.
He sure was. He set that shit up.
And Sid just yelled at him. Said, Iggy! You can hear it if you actually watch the recording of it, like the playback. You hear Iggy, and then he just fires the puck across, and Crosby shoots it in. Game over. Gold medal. My number, I'm going to put one on there, is Bobby Lou. It's Roberto Luongo. Florida Panther.
Honorable mention on my list.
Florida Panther legend. Got as far as the Cup final. Game 7 against your Boston Bruins. The guy's 3rd all-time in wins. Like, it's not like he was a bad goaltender. He absolutely was a stud goalie. Just could not get it done at all. Teams he played on really bad Florida teams for a really long time, and then when Vancouver was built to win once again, could not finish the job. All jam, no toast.
I'll counter your Bobby Lou with Henrik Lundqvist.
The King.
You want to hear his Game 7 stats?
Yeah, give me Game 7s.
6-2 with a 1.11 goals against and a 9.61 save percentage. And he never won a cup.
It feels unfair.
Right.
It feels really unfair.
Overall playoff record of under 500, by the way.
What a shitty, oh, man. I'm going to go a little bit off board here, and not someone that's often mentioned. I'm going with Pavel Bure.
He was on my honorable mentions as well.
Russian Rocket had electric seasons with Vancouver and Florida. His knees did not appreciate those electric seasons.
Nope.
Doesn't have the stat totals that
back-to-back 60-goal seasons.
There's some other guys that we're going to mention that are absolutely they're studs. They're Marcel Dion's 6th all time. He's on both of our lists.
Right.
Not to hashtag,
Bure,
but
Bure
is not there, but he is electric.
He also came close. He made it to a cup in 94.
Yes.
70 points in 64 playoff games.
Yeah. That's stupid. That's stupid. That pace is stupid. We're not going to count Marcel Dion because he's on both of our lists. So
yeah, that means he's probably 1-1.
Yeah, he is.
Highest all-time in goals, points of any player to have never won a cup. Only guy in the top 10 to never get one. So that's my 3 again. Lundqvist, Dion. My 4th, Joe Thornton, Jumbo Joe.
Jumbo Joe.
Guy played forever. Just the Sharks could never get over the hump. They would always make these playoff runs, second round, third round, whatever, and they just couldn't. First round, and they would just get bounced historically every single year. Same thing with Pavelski. I just hope he gets one with the Stars this year.
Yeah.
They just wallowed in San Jose for so long. There's so many good teams that just didn't win shit. They're another one that could just never get a goalie.
When
Went
you
out
talk
Martin
about,
Jones for too long.
you put some goddamn respect on Arturs Urbe's name. My favorite thing was when the Sharks were
Who is it? Antti Niemi?
franchise. Yeah. When the Sharks were an expansion franchise and they made the playoffs, they were going up against the Wings with like Yzerman and Fedorov, and you're like, well, yeah, they've got Nick Lidstrom and like good goaltending. Of course they're going to win. And then they lost like 4 straight to San Jose, and it's like, all right, I guess the Sharks win. Oatsy is my 4, Tao. Adam Oates is on my list. 18th all-time in points. Made the playoffs in 15 of 19 seasons with 6 different teams. He made it to the final. All-time, 27th all-time in playoff scoring. Yes, he did. He led the Caps to the first final back in the day. He's absolutely unbelievable. Honorable mention to Matt Sundin for me. Old Matt's never got the chance. Played with Vancouver at the end to try and get over the hump, but like just couldn't get there.
Pretty on point. All my honorable mentions are on your list.
Yeah.
So
it's good.
Pretty consensus.
Yeah,
consensus Mount Rushmore there. I like it.
All right. You know, at that time, it means it's time.
You know who's not on there? Alexander Burrows and Brian Bickle.
You know who will be on there one day? Austin Matthews. Time for Stone Stories. We get close to wrapping up for the night.
Oh, Stone Stories is bringing us to Ohio tonight.
Our favorite place to throw shade.
Yeah, this is just another reason as to why Ohio is a blister on America. They released a public health warning after learning that an HIV-positive sex worker had interactions with over 200 clients and may have spread the disease all along the East Coast. Washington County Sheriff's Office charged Linda Inez Lasesi with soliciting after she tested positive for HIV, which is a 3rd-degree felony. Now, both the Sheriff's Office and the Marietta Police Department are working to contact at least 211 people who may have been in contact with her. I don't know if they got it from like a black book or where they got the 211 for, if it was just off the top of her memory, but it's a lot. It's a lot of people, and she is she looks like she has HIV. You know what I mean? I don't think one person should have solicited anything from this woman, let alone 211. That number's crazy to me, which just again further proves why Ohio is a shithole. Quote, we want the citizens out there to understand that there will be a deputy sheriff reaching out to these individuals that we have numbers for. They're not in trouble. This is public health awareness, and this is not a scam. Had to get all of that in there. A little
hashtag not warning. A scam.
Hashtag not a scam. This is the police department.
No, we really are asking about your wiener.
Can you imagine getting that call and they're like, sir, have you had any sex with any prostitutes? And they're like, no.
Sir, I'm inquiring about your wiener.
This sounds like a scam. This is how scams start. According to the sheriff's office, during their investigation into the matter, they found that Lasesi had allegedly been soliciting paid sexual work, knowing she tested positive for HIV since 2022, and that she may have had contact with people across several states. This could stem anywhere from Florida up the East Coast, which means she was doing this all over the place, or with people from all over the place.
I thought this was illegal. I thought it was like highly illegal. Whatever. People just out here wilding.
It's a 3rd-degree felony. You get the hooking and the disease transmitting.
That's awesome.
Officials say that people who may have been in contact will be referred to their local health department and advise anyone who may have had sexual contact with this woman to undergo testing.
Trafficking across state lines.
Shame.
Shame.
Yeah.
I got not much for the last call before we get out of here. Just a reminder that there are thousands of ways that you can help us grow this show and make it spectacular, most of which are free. We don't often ask for much of anything, but if you could share the show out, let people know when we're live, tell other people, tell coworkers, say, don't be an asshole, watch the show, or go subscribe to the newsletter, give them your junk email. Everybody has an email that they sign up for like shitty promos for.
Yeah.
Make our promo one of the shitty promos. It's actually a good newsletter, but I'll let you decide that. But like, there are 100 ways to show support for this show, including
Quick read
showing up
too.
into the comment. Showing up into the comments is always appreciated.
Shout out Tao.
Shout out Tao. It's the little things that make the biggest difference, and you never know when one share can go a long way.
Check the Twitch.
Check Dubs on Twitch. Stone Sports Podcast.
Yes, sir.
What were you playing the other night? Just the beta
X
that was
Defiant.
the beta that was launched as a full game.
Yeah, X Defiant. It was supposed to be a Call of Duty competitor. We'll see what happens. By the same people. I like it so far, but it needs work for sure.
Yeah. What a shock.
You die very, very quickly.
It's just a bunch of dead.
Yeah, it's more realistic than COD in that sense. You get fucking ding ding, 2 shots, you're done.
I like it. For Dubs, I'm Armchair. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate everybody. We will see you next Wednesday here on the Ocho.